Did you know that you can place items directly from your vehicle storage into a storage chest in your base? If you've been hauling items yourself manually into the base, you can probably understand that it is quite a pain. Well, if you go to a storage within your base, you can go to the left side, click the backpack tab, and select the vehicle of your choice and access its inventory directly. Not only is this great for unloading items into your base, but it's also great for reloading vehicles for relocation purposes. If this was helpful to you, then stick around because the video is going to be packed with advice for new players and mid-game players alike. The second tip has to do with the Hoger Rift, which is directly east of the East Vermilius Gap. This area can be very intimidating to traverse for new players, especially if they want cobalt or to use it as a way to access the vast aluminum deposits of the Eastern Shield Wall and beyond. But don't worry, this trip is actually very simple because if you're able to get to the top layer beneath the surface, it is actually built exactly like a highway with multiple easy to access exits, and on top of that, since it's beneath the surface, it offers sandstorm protection to ensure your long buggy trips are safe. This was definitely intimidating for my friends and I to traverse, but once we had the realization that all paths kind of connect down here, we realized the genius behind the design and how it's actually just a wasteland version of a highway. This world is beautifully detailed, but I am blown away by the design of the Hoger Rift mines more than anything else because of this. It also really helped us specifically to learn this route because our base was literally at the end of the Hoger Rift, so we'd regularly make the trip down the entirety of the rift in our buggy for a few thousand aluminum at a time. Next up is sorting with circuits, and this is great for organization. Now, any kind of facility that has a storage will have circuits at the top. The left one is for the input and the right is for the output. So for example, we're going to make the input on my storage, the chest, circuit 2, and then we're going to make our refineries output to circuit 2, meaning that anytime we create something with our refineries, it will automatically deposit to any chests we have set as the input to circuit 2. Now, you saw a bunch of welding wire there because unfortunately it only automatically deposits if there is no storage in the refinery itself. Hopefully they add a toggle for that in the future so that it just auto deposits without you needing to fill it up. But as you can see, iron ingots are being directly deposited to my storage from the refinery as they are being made. And this is, once again, great for organization, and I recommend taking advantage of this as soon as possible before you end up with a storage disaster on your hands. Optimal dew harvest time is important, but kind of hard to figure out as a newer player. You get significantly more water from harvesting dew during this time, and it's actually really easy to figure it out. It does happen at dawn. Now, how do you check this? You can check the time of day by checking your status or by hitting T, and in the top right of your screen, it will show you what time of day it is. Optimal dew harvesting time, or dawn, is during the last 2 blue sections before daytime. We'll let the sped up footage run its course, but as you can see, as soon, like the exact frame that it ticks over to the second to last night section before daytime, you'll see that we are now eligible for optimal harvesting. It's important to remember this even as a mid to late game player because as nice as it is to automate water production, you will always be able to get more water by going out and harvesting it yourself. My current route nets me about 70,000 water per night, and it isn't even an optimized route. So don't waste your nights, and if you notice your base is low on water, make the most out of harvesting dew. Number 5, the exploding cargo pods. Now, every now and then, you're going to hear multiple loud explosions going off, and if you look to the sky during this time, you can sometimes see an exploding cargo pod making its way down to the desert. Loot these as fast as possible, as other players will be racing to them, and they contain a lot of good materials, including industrial pumps, which are one of, if not the rarest material, in the Haga Basin. Not only are you racing against players though, once you arrive, if you don't loot these things quickly enough, Shai Hulud will pay you a visit and most likely eat the pod as well. So again, speed is key. There's 3 potential lootable spots on these, 1 on top and 2 on the sides, and if you are in the deep desert, which is more for endgame players, the one that is closest to the, head, the cockpit, the little storage container, the one that we looted first here, will have rare, unique blueprints for you as well. But again, that's only for people who are in the end game and traversing the deep desert. If you're looting these in the Haga Basin, they will just have good materials on them. Number 6, save time on refining. Now this may be a no-brainer to some, but I've definitely met people that just still make entire batches in a single refinery. But for example, aluminum takes 15 seconds per aluminum, which can really add up if you need thousands of it, or any kind of large batch number. I highly recommend making multiple refineries for this, that way you can severely cut down on the time it takes for all of your aluminum to be processed, and you can start actually putting it to use faster. Now this obviously applies to things other than aluminum as well, but aluminum is a great example because it's definitely one of the more annoying and tedious metals to turn into ingots. Number 7, Landsraad rewards. Now, for those unaware, the Landsraad is the conflict in this game. Players choose either House Atreides or mistakenly choose the Harks and end up contributing to winning votes for their house in the Landsraad, either by passively playing or by joining the front lines out in the deep desert. But some of these objectives are very easy to get credit for, like killing hostile NPCs, for example. If you end up getting enough personal contribution with a subhouse, you can seek them out in the basin and claim rewards from them. These can vary from rare schematics to currency to cosmetics, so keep an eye on these even if you aren't actively trying to further your house's standing in the Landsraad, because you may have some rewards you can claim. And for the final tip, and honestly, a lot of you guys probably aren't going to want to hear this, but play with friends. And if you don't have them, make them. Guilds are an important part of the game, and I'm sure people are willing to have you in them. And you don't have to dedicate yourself entirely to the guild. You can just play with them occasionally, and most people will have you. Use LFG to find one if you need to, but seriously, this game was never intended to be played solo, and it was always intended to be an MMO survival craft game. The game is dramatically different when playing with other people, and you'll start hitting the point where you feel you really need friends to play with when you get around to the aluminum stage. But don't be afraid to meet some people and make some memories. Try to have as much fun as possible on your way to endgame, because you're only ever going to be able to experience the new game experience once. But yeah, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if any of these tips helped you out, leave a like and let me know which one helped you the most in the comments below. I love this game, and I'm excited to see what Funcom does with it in the future. But yeah, if you guys have any information that I didn't cover in this video that you think is important, feel free to leave that in the comments below too, because we want to help as many players as we can here. I hope you all have a great day. I'm Haderaxe, signing out. Peace.